Hello guys. If you're going to be a web developer, you're going to do a lot of scripting. In this video, I'm going to give you a definition of what a script is. I'm going to give you a definition of what a scripting language is, and then we're going to look at some examples. Scripts are little programs. You might use a script for a once-off task, like fixing data in a database. Systems administrators use scripts to do things like trimming log files or automating jobs that they would otherwise need to do manually. And in that case, the systems administrator would probably schedule the script to run on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. Application developers can design their applications in such a way that other developers can write scripts and load those scripts into the application and extend the functionality of the application or alter the behavior of the application. And of course, in our case, scripts are used to add content from a database to a web page. Okay, let's do some examples. So we'll start off with a hello world. I'm using Visual Studio Code. I really recommend it as a nice, simple editor. I'm going to create a folder to store my examples. Let me just come into the right folder. You can see I've done a couple of takes already. I'm going to call it scripting 2. Okay. Right, so let's do an example using JavaScript. This is JavaScript running on the server side as opposed to JavaScript running in the browser, and often you'll hear it referred to as NodeJS or just Node. This will be a hello world. .js. Okay, so to do a hello world in Node or in JavaScript is console.log hello world. And what this will do is it will print hello world to the standard output. I'm going to open up a terminal window. This is one of the nice things about Visual Studio Code. It's got this little built-in terminal window. I'll fold this away. Clear this. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that I'm in the right folder. I'm in scripting 1. Get into scripting 2 and into the JavaScript folder. Okay. Right, now to run this script, I use the, I have to run it using Node, the Node.js program, which will actually run my script for me. And then I need to provide as an argument to the Node program the name of my script, the file name of my script, or the actual path to my script file, which is hello world.js. And there you go, it prints hello world to the console. So let's make this slightly more interesting. Let's print my name, or the user's name. Okay, so we're going to supply on the command line the name, okay, as an additional parameter. And to get a hold of the parameters using Node.js, I can use process.argv, and argv is an array of containing these arguments. This is the first value in the array, which is number 0, the second value, and the third value. So because it's 0 based, it's 0, 1, 2. All right. Hello David. So hopefully that's not looking too scary. Let's do another example using Python. Python I don't often use, so my Python skills are pretty rubbish, but I think I can manage a hello world. Right. So hello world in Python, just for a reminder, that's the hello world in Node. Hello world in Python is print hello world. Okay, let me come out of my JavaScript folder and into the Python folder. Okay, and there's my hello world.py. And to run the Python script, I say Python hello world.py. There you go. Let's get that name argument and put it into the hello world. Okay. So the way that you do it in Python, you need to import the system module, and then very similar to JavaScript, you go system.argv, and the way that I believe the way that Python counts these arguments is not 0, 1, 2, but 0, 1. Let's just see if that's right. Oh, no module name system, I think it's sys. Yeah, there you go. Hello, David. Okay then, and last hello world example, let's use PHP. PHP is a common web scripting language. I don't think PHP is used outside of web scripting, outside of actually writing scripts for web pages. So hello world.php, but NodeJS, JavaScript and Python are extensively used outside of web development. So this is the way you start a PHP script. So you wrap the script in these tags. So you can see it already looks a little bit web developer-ish. And then you put inside here echo hello world. All right. In PHP, this semicolon line terminator is not optional. And let's run this. Come out of the Python folder into the PHP folder and just clear. And I believe it is simply PHP hello world.php. Right, now I had a bit of trouble with this while I was practicing for this video, and I must be honest, I can't really remember how I resolved this. As you can see, when I run PHP hello world.php, oh, there you go. I don't know what happened there the first time. Okay. Right. So I think what confused me is there's no line break at the end of that, like it was with the others. So I'm going to put a line break in. This \n is, I think, almost universally used in the programming languages I've worked with as a line terminator. So this means add a new line at the end of this. /n, I think n stands for new line. So let's run that again, and there we got a nice new line. Okay, and let's then try and see how we can add the name in there. Let's see. This is going to require a little bit of Googling. First thing is, the way that you add or concatenate strings together in PHP is not using the plus like we did in the other languages, but using the full stop. Okay, I think, let's see, $_ args, maybe. And I think that this would probably be arg0, the first argument, so let's try that. Okay, nope. Let's see, perhaps it's the second argument in there. Nope. I wonder if there's anything in args at all. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to print the contents of args, just so that we can see what's in there, and I print the contents of an array using print r. Okay. Well, there's nothing in args, so I'm going to have to Google this. PHP command line args. Array of arguments passed to a script in PHP under $argv. So you can see that there's a common theme amongst all these languages is the argv. Okay, and we can just print argv to see what's in there. Right, so the first one, argument 0, the first one is the script name of the script, and the second one is David, so 0 and 1, so this needs to be 1. Okay. Right, there you go. Hello world using PHP. Right, so one of the things that you will see in scripts is this character, the hash and the exclamation mark, and this in scripting kind of jargon is called a shebang. So let me show you the shebang and show you what it's used for. You notice that when I executed my script, I needed to, what I was really executing is a program called PHP, and I was providing my script name as an argument into the program called PHP. What if I want to just run my script directly as an executable? Okay, so basically what that would look like is that would look like just running it like this. Okay, so basically just running the script file itself directly as an executable. So I'm getting a permission denied, and that's because I'm running on a Unix system. Really, it doesn't matter what operating system you're running on. If you want to execute a file like that, the file needs to have executable permissions. So depending on your platform, you need to give your file executable permissions, and the way you do it on Unix is chmod. I'm going to add executable permissions for the user and the group, add executable permissions for this script, hello world.php. Now the script is executable. I can see that. If I look at the script, it's got the little X's to say that it's executable for the user and it is executable for the group. It's not executable for everybody. Okay, right, and if I wanted to execute my script directly without passing it in as an argument to the PHP executable, right, how would I do that? So I need a way of telling the operating system what interpreter to use to execute this script, and I do that using the shebang. And after the shebang, I need to put in the path to my interpreter. Okay, so what does that really mean? Well, when I ran my script like this, okay, what I was really doing, because of the PHP executable, this PHP interpreter program is on the path, I could just run it straight like that, just PHP, without putting in the full path to the interpreter. But in fact, what was actually happening was I was running the PHP program, which actually sits in the user folder, and the bin folder inside the user folder, and the file is PHP. Okay, so that's what I was actually doing. It's just this user bin was hidden from you. Okay, because the PHP command was on the executable was on the path. So I need to take this full path to the interpreter program, PHP, and I need to put that after the shebang. Okay, this will tell the operating system when you execute this script, execute it using this interpreter program. Okay, let me save this. And now, because my script has got executable permissions and it's got the shebang set up like that, I can just run my script like this. Hello world.php David. Okay. So that can be important in certain situations, and it just means it's a little bit less typing. By the way, why did I have to put a // in front of the hello world.php? The reason for that is because this file is not on the path. Okay, so the folder that we're currently in is not on the path, which means that I need to provide a full path to this file. Dot is a placeholder, or dot is a placeholder for the current directory, and hello world, right? That basically tells the operating system the exact file that I want to execute. Right, so that's a bit of a long-winded explanation, I guess, of the shebang. The same goes for all of our other scripts. If we want to execute them directly, we would have to basically do the same thing. So we would do the same thing for our Python script, and in this case we would be executing it with the Python interpreter, and we would do the same thing for our Node script. And we would use the Node interpreter. Now, in this case, my Node interpreter is not sitting at this path. And so, how do I find out where my Node interpreter is? I can use this, in Unix, I can use this useful command called which node, and it will tell me exactly the path of the Node interpreter that I was using. So that is the shebang, and it's one of those things that you will need to know about, so that you can execute your scripts. Give my script the executable permissions. Oops, this is actually changed directory into my JavaScript folder. Give my script executable permissions, and now I can run it as an executable. The next thing that is really a useful feature of scripting languages, and this comes from the fact that the scripting languages are not compiled but they are interpreted, is the REPL program that comes along with each of the scripting languages. So let me demonstrate that to you. I'm going to make a little bit of space here. Okay. So what does REPL stand for? So if you Google REPL, and you scroll down a little bit, you'll find this Wikipedia article. REPL stands for Read, Eval, Print Loop. Okay, and what I guess the easiest way to show you the easiest way is actually to show you. So let me take one of our programs. Each of these platforms, JavaScript, PHP, and Python, all have REPLs. So I'm just going to show you the JavaScript one. So there was our little JavaScript program, and or our little JavaScript script. And if I go to the command line and I type in node without putting a file at the end here, okay, so just node, just like that, it will go into REPL mode, which means I can type my JavaScript commands directly in here and get immediate feedback. Okay, so console.log hello world. Right, there you go, hello world. I can define a variable. And I can see what that variable is set to. Okay, I can change the variable. right? I can do some math. Okay, and I can basically do anything in this little REPL tool that I could do here. And this really is a very, very useful feature of these scripting languages. Comes in handy a lot. Right, so yeah, so that is the REPL tool. Maybe I'll just show you one. I'll just show you one more. I'll show you the Python REPL tool. Let me just clear my screen. It's basically doing the same thing that the JavaScript, the NodeJS REPL tool is doing. Okay, I can basically just put these commands straight in here. Of course, it's not going to have the argument, so this will cause an error. Right, there you go. List index out of range. In other words, there is no number one element in this array, the argv array. So let's just fix that. We can't use the up arrow. There you go. Right, in our final example, we're going to be doing something a bit more realistic. So we're going to be writing to a database. You'll find that very often when you write scripts, you're going to be integrating with external services like databases. Other examples of external services are email servers to send email messages, SMS gateways to send SMS messages, or external APIs to access data on external systems, like, for example, weather data or voter registration data or whatever, various different types of data. And you'll find that often what you're doing in your scripts is you write your own specific business logic that is unique to you in your script, and you use these external services to kind of do all of the hard work. So you focus just on the specific business logic that is unique to you, and you use external services to do all the hard work for you. Okay, the other thing that I'm going to introduce you to is the package manager, and you'll see that this is an important concept when you start really writing scripts that do for real world applications. So let me jump straight in. I'm most familiar with Node.js, so I'm going to start with Node.js. I've got a MongoDB database running. I set up my database on MongoDB Atlas, which is a great service, allows you to run a free small database, which is what I've done. If I open up my cluster and my collections, collections are kind of like tables in a relational database. I can see I've got no collections. We'll see one pop up now when we write a record to it. In order to connect to my database, MongoDB Atlas gives me a bit of help. So if I click on the connect button, connects an application and comes through to Node, it will give me some code that I can cut and paste. So here you go, I can just cut and paste this code. Okay, I'm going to create a new script called write to db.js and paste that code in there. Okay, so if I try and run this code, let's just save this. It's going to give me an error and say cannot find module MongoDB. So what does this mean? Now, modules, also called packages, okay, or also called dependencies. Modules are other JavaScript files like the ones we've written that have been created by other people that you can reuse, so that you can just basically, to make your life easier and to make your life faster. One of the things that has made Node.js so popular is Node.js has got such a rich library of modules or packages that you can use. Okay, and the tool for managing and installing packages in Node.js is called NPM, Node Package Manager. So Node Package Manager's got a great website where you can browse all of the modules that are available. So let me show you the NPM website. If I Google for NPM and then the package name that I'm interested in, you'll see it will come back with the information page for that package. Okay, so it'll tell me all about what this package is, what this package does, bugs, feature requests, how do I install it, you know, all bits and lots of information, which is great. Other useful thing is how many other people are using this package, and I use this as an indication of the maturity of the package and the quality of the package. So if I see that a package has been installed sort of more than 10 or 20,000 times a week, I'm pretty confident that that's a really stable, mature package without bugs, without security vulnerabilities, because there's so many other people using it. You know, if those bugs will get picked up by people and reported. If I see a package that's only got 1 or 2 downloads a week, then, you know, I'm a bit more suspect of it. I probably wouldn't want to use it in a production system, because you know, you just don't know what kind of bugs are in there or vulnerabilities are in there. But here you can see this is a package that's very, very heavily used. That's almost 1 million downloads a week. Okay, so how do I install this? And it gives me the command right here. Okay, so I'm just going to run that command. That's npm install mongodb. Okay. Right, what that's done is it's created a folder called Node Modules, and inside here it has put the JavaScript files of the module. Okay, so I can open up and can actually see the JavaScript files that I've just imported. Okay, or installed. And I don't need to worry about that. I can just keep that closed. So now, if I try and run this, right, I'm not getting that error, module not found, okay, but I am getting another error. Mongo client must be connected before calling Mongo client.prototype.db, which is happening on line, which line is it? Line 5, okay, and let me just modify the script a little bit. Okay, so there's actually an error coming through, but we aren't checking for that error, so I'm going to put in a check here. If there is an error, then print it. Okay. If there is an error, print it and return, which will return and close. Okay, which will stop the program. Okay. Let me clear so it becomes easier to read. Okay, so I'm getting an E not found networking error. Okay, that's because I haven't set my connection string. So let me go ahead and set my connection string. I come back to this little page to help me get connected, and I use the connection string for the driver version 3.6 and over, which is what I'm using. I'll copy that and paste the connection string for my database in there. The only thing I need to add is the password. Okay. Now the password I've set as an environment variable because I don't want to broadcast the password on YouTube. So I'm going to put this environment variable in here, process.env. db pass. Okay, and I'm just going to show you a slightly neater way of doing the same command in Node.js. I can use a JavaScript template string. It's just a slightly neater way of constructing that string. Okay, now if I try the code again, okay, so nothing is printed. I didn't put any print lines in here, but I could put a print line in here like console.log connected to MongoDB. Okay, and I'd get a little bit of feedback. Right, now what I need to do is I need to write a record to MongoDB, and the way that I would do that is I connect to my database called test. Okay, so my database here is called test. Okay, right, and the database currently has no collections. So what MongoDB does is if you write to a collection that doesn't exist, it will just automatically create it for you, which is quite nice. I'm just going to call this scripts demo. Okay, I'm going to rename this to, I suppose collection is fine. Now I'm going to write a record, collection dot insert one, and as a parameter to this function, I put in the object that I want to write to the database. Okay, and my object is just going to have two fields: first name David and last name Mac. Okay, and now JavaScript is an asynchronous language, which I'm not going to explain that now, but that means I need to provide a callback to this function so that once the insert is completed, I can take some action. Okay. Otherwise, what's going to happen is it will close the connection. It will close the connection to MongoDB before this command is completed. So I'm going to provide a callback function error. Okay, console, and I'm going to use the same pattern I have here. Oops. If error, then console.log error, return otherwise console.log inserted record, and close the connection. And that should do it. Okay, so that's our code to write a record into a MongoDB. Okay, let's run that. Okay, and if we have a look at our collection, so we've got a scripts demo collection inside the test database, and there's the record that we inserted. Okay, so I'm not going to do the same example in PHP and in Python. The process would be pretty much exactly the same, in the sense that there's a package manager. In Python it's called pip, and with PHP there's a couple of package managers available. I think PECL, P-E-C-L, is the popular one, and you would use that package manager to install the required package. You would go through the same kind of a process to get help on how to connect. Okay, so Python. And there's the Python code, a lot shorter to connect. So it would be a very similar process, just using Python syntax and using the Python package manager, pip. Okay, so I hope that was helpful.